What's up everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode. I am so excited. I finally get to talk about one of my favorite games of all time. It's a 3D platformer that released in October 2017. It has collectibles, a cute hat, running around in a spaceship. If you haven't guessed it by now, then you're in for a treat because today I am talking about none other than... This is not a hat in time. 2017 was, without a doubt, one of the best years in all of video game history. Not only did it have some fantastic genre-defining titles, but in its short 12 months, I saw the release of plenty of games that would soon go on to become some of my favorite games of all time. Nier Automata, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Horizon Zero Dawn, the bane of my existence, Persona 5. See, I don't just play silly Nintendo titles, I am a man of many hats. But with all of these amazing genre-defining titles that were released in 2017, why in the hell do I keep coming back to this game about this cute little girl with a cute purple hat? Because look at her, she's adorable! This is a hat in time, an adorable 3D platformer that I just have so many fond memories of. I originally played this on the PS4s. It was never actually planned to have a Switch port. As soon as I had the option to buy the Switch port, I picked it up at a local retailer, and then I got this Hat in Time plush figure, and now I'm currently waiting on my Hat in Time hat. It should be arriving any minute. So if you're wondering if I think you should play a Hat in Time, what the f do you think I'm gonna say? So what is a Hat in Time? Well, a Hat in Time is an action game taking inspiration from old school platformers that sprung up during the jump to 3D. These would be your Mario 64s, Banjo-Kazooie, Psychonauts. There's actually a chalk outline of Raz in one of the levels, and famous Banjo-Kazooie composer Grant Kirkhope helped write a good portion of the soundtrack. Heading the project was indie studio Gears for Breakfast, a terrible idea for daily nutrition, but an excellent choice to make a 3D platformer, despite a Hat in Time being the studio's first big project. Now, I'm personally not too big into indie games, but I am into 3D platformers. I've completed every 3D Mario game multiple times through, 100% every Crash game I could get my hands on, and I've even gotten the platinum for Sonic Forces, so you know you can trust my opinion. So when I heard of a brand new indie 3D platformer, needless to say, I was quite intrigued. It's rare enough to see a brand new IP in the genre, but from an indie studio? And their first project? Typically indie games involve a 2D style. If they do involve elements of 3D games, it's usually in top-down fashion or still played on two axes. When you bring in a third dimension, now you have to deal with all new types of movement, enemy placement, animations, tangible objects, which means it's not impossible to do, but it just makes it that much harder to find the resources needed to make a polished game. Yooka-Laylee was able to do this, but unlike a Hat in Time, these were ex-Rare employees. They actually worked on Banjo-Kazooie, so of course they were going to find success. I said they found success, I never said it was good. Yooka-Laylee and a Hat in Time are two games that I always tend to associate with each other. They're both collectathons, they both released around the same time, and they both also started off as Kickstarters. So it always boggled me that this game that was made by the critically acclaimed minds behind Banjo-Kazooie for $2 million got its ass kicked by a $300,000 game about a small girl with an umbrella. But enough about Banjo-Kazooie ripoffs. Let's actually take a look at the wonderful world of this cute as heck 3D platformer. I promise that's not my own words, that's actually the name of their Kickstarter platform. Guys, I think I found my happy place. This is exactly how you show off a start screen. The moving logo, all of the characters dancing around the planet's orbit. I haven't even pressed a button yet, and this game already has me hooked. Ooh. Ooh! A Hat in Time wastes no time at all jumping you into the action. You've got a short cutscene that's not even a minute long, and right after that, you're already running around the spaceship. And hear me out. This might be one of my favorite hub worlds of all time. Part of the reason hub worlds like Peach's Castle and Delfino Plaza are so memorable is because the further you progress, the more opens up to you. It's not just a level select screen, it's a full interactable level. The more collectibles you collect, the further your desire for exploration entices you into the world. And Hat Kid's Spaceship takes this concept and absolutely runs with it, faster than me when I hear the package I've been waiting for has finally arrived. Damn it. Hat Kid's Spaceship has so much personality. I feel like this is what children see when they see the McDonald's play place, except this is much cleaner because it has a Roomba. And you can write on it. Within seconds, you know the feeling this game is trying to capture. It's colorful, it's goofy, you can watch TV, jump in a pile of pillows, you can play a text-based adventure. I kid you not, this game oozes personality. A Hat in Time does show its indie roots a bit. Some areas do have minor visual bugs, like you jump through this pile of pillows and apparently they're all floating in the air, but this is nitpicking. I mean, come on. $300,000. Sure, you can tell this game was made on a budget, but it doesn't detract from the experience. In fact, with a game this small, I'd rather have a few unfinished textures so that they can polish the gameplay. Which feels really solid for an indie title. It feels a lot more floaty than other platformers, really tying into that space aesthetic, but even on solid ground, it still has that light, whimsical feeling. Hatkid has a good array of moves. You can jump, double jump, dive, climb up walls, smack enemies with an umbrella. I expected something far more simple, but you can clearly tell that the developers understood platformers, as the movement is definitely the priority here. But the game is called A Hat in Time, and while journeying through the story, Hatkid can use yarn to unlock and collect different hats as well. I've said the word hat 4 times in this sentence. The sprint hat is pretty basic. It allows you to jump farther and move faster, but the ice hat transforms you into a block of ice that can catapult you across gaps and unlock secrets. I find that in a lot of platformers, mechanics like these typically show up for a level or two and then disappear, but that could not be farther from the case here. Every hat feels complete to the experience. I consistently found myself using each one multiple times in a new world. I will say that the combat is pretty basic for a game that originally started as a hack and slash action adventure. Like, what do these games have in common? Oh, that's right, they both wear hats. Combat is okay, swinging your umbrella is the main way to attack, and although it's basic, it still feels pretty satisfying to do. There's also this dive move that's also a bit finicky, but feels very satisfying when you manage to pull it off. I'm surprised. I've seen this complaint quite a lot, that the enemies aren't engaging or the enemies don't pose a challenge, but when has this ever stopped platformers before? I'm not losing sleep over the Goombas and Bob on Battlefield, but I am losing sleep over TikTok clock at 5 o'clock in the morning when I've fallen down for the 15th time and I'm suffering from a mental breakdown. Nearly every platformer, 3D especially, doesn't need difficult enemies to make the challenge rewarding. The memorable moments come from the actual platforming itself, and what do you know, I'm actually starting to see a pattern here, which A Hat in Time does a fantastic job at portraying. The game has 4 really solid areas that you progress through, the first being Mafia Town, your basic starting world that's just a harbor full of ruffians and no do-gooders. Yeah, I definitely could have come up with a better word for that. You've got Battle of the Birds, a movie studio level where these 2 birds, a penguin and whatever the f this is, are fighting in a movie studio to try to be the best director of the next annual Bird Movie Awards. If it sounds really stupid, that's because it is, but I promise you this is one of my favorite worlds in all of video games. Moving on. You've got Subcon Forest, a dark and gloomy forest that offsets the bright whimsical allure of the rest of the game that includes these adorable foxes that say,
"We want to die. Yay!"
Fun game. There's also nooses hanging around everywhere. Did I mention that this game was rated T for teen? And then you've got Alpine Skyline, an open world free to explore however you see fit that breaks the convention of A Hat in Time's level-based structure, which I haven't even talked about yet. A Hat in Time takes a page out of Super Mario Sunshine's book with a level-based system with each world containing new chapters. One of the major complaints about Super Mario Sunshine is how each area has to be completed in a specific order, with each level needing to be finished to complete the game. A Hat in Time keeps this specific level-based system, but multiple levels open up at once, so if you just really don't like this level, it's not necessary to complete the game. But this level is also one of the best in the game, so why would you ever skip it? You also don't need every single timepiece to progress further into the game. You only need a little more than half, but once you get to that point, you're gonna want to keep playing. I can honestly say that there wasn't a single timepiece in the game that wasn't worth collecting, as if the developers weren't afraid to scrap ideas in favor of any others for the sake of being fun. There's also these neat little levels called time rifts. You basically get a clue at the start of the level to where this time rift is located, and once you discover where it's at, it takes you to a brand new level. Can you tell where the inspiration comes from? All of these different level designs come together to form 40 different timepieces in the game, and even though it's not that much, it never fails to get old. I'm on my 4th or 5th playthrough, enough to lose count, but I still find myself thoroughly enjoying each of these levels. A Hat in Time does a great job at making every single level feel unique. It doesn't feel like a gimmick's being forced upon the player, and there's so much personality injected into this game, and all of it can be traced back to the fact that this character is just so cute! Much of a Hat in Time's success can be credited to its design, and it all starts with Hat Kid. It's simple, it's easily recognizable, and it's just adorable to say the least. But having a good design only takes you so far, so when you see Hat Kid's idle animations, the way she holds her hands while wearing the detective outfit, or how when it's raining she dons a raincoat, these are the kinds of things that you see from a AAA studio, not from an indie game. The entire experience of A Hat in Time builds upon this, and really shows how much personality is really here. There's a level with a classic murder mystery on a train and an old western filter over it, and another level with a futuristic diagram showing the molecular structure of Hat Kid, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm lying, this is the exact same level. It doesn't help that this game has top-notch voice acting. You can tell by listening how much fun these actors had while recording this, as none of these lines should be taken seriously whatsoever.
First, we strangle them, choke them, and watch them beg for mercy. That'll show them.
You moon penguins are just gonna write some loud, noisy dribble.
Would you believe me if I told you this was the Smash announcer? I could go on about how much personality there is in A Hat in Time, like this one level where you fall in goop and Mafia members think that Hat Kid is a zombie, or the level where you have to defuse a bomb on a train within a certain time limit. Gears for Breakfast was absolutely unafraid to add more ideas to the game just for the sake of being fun, and I would show you more, but come on, just play the fucking game already. I try to be very critical of every single game that I play. It doesn't matter how good of a game is, it still has the right to be criticized. For example, I really like Spaghetti, but I just don't like how messy it is. As much as I love this game, there are a bit of performance issues being an indie studio and all. The camera can be a bit finicky at times. It's pretty good for the most part, but sometimes I have no idea what the hell this thing is doing. Like, there's this one mission where you have to balance off faucets and turn off the lava that's pouring out of them, so it's kind of like the Goopy Inferno, except it's actually good, but it can be really aggravating trying to position yourself on this due to the camera. The game also suffers a significant downgrade on the Nintendo Switch. When comparing the two games, it's pretty clear to see the difference in graphical quality. Thankfully, the performance doesn't suffer at all, but the load times on the Switch are a bit too long for my liking, so get used to seeing that a bit. Other than that, I don't really have any issues with the game, which is great because there's even more to explore. Gears for Breakfast have new DLC chapters like the Seal the Deal DLC and Yazuka Metro, which add brand new worlds and tons of different missions to test your skills. The Seal the Deal is more for hardened veterans of platformers, as some of these challenges are genuinely difficult, but Yazuka Metro and Arctic Cruise are just as much of a blast to play through as the main story. These came out 2 years ago, and since then, Gears for Breakfast has been really quiet about A Hat in Time. Nobody knows for certain what exactly Gears for Breakfast is working on, but A Hat in Time was a huge success. Selling over 1 million copies in its first year for an indie studio is genuinely impressive. And I didn't even scratch the surface of what all this game has to offer. There's these custom title cards for each level's act, the dynamic soundtrack that changes depending on where you are in the level, and the modding community, which just released a pack that introduced Flood into the game. Like I said before, A Hat in Time is genuinely one of my favorite games of all time, and though its indie roots are what give it some visible flaws, without those indie roots, we wouldn't have the heart and soul that comes with A Hat in Time to make it not just one of the best indie games that I've ever played, but one of the best 3D platformers I've ever had the pleasure to experience. I have no idea what the future of A Hat in Time is gonna be, but I do know that I finally got my hat in the mail. It's weird, it came with instructions. Please use at your own risk. Batteries are included. That's a little unorthodox, but I think the hat is actually going to... This isn't North Carolina, they got the color all wrong. Yes, it's a bowl of f***ing spaghetti!